Walk one, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what it do, what it is.
What it is, big man, are you alive and kicking?
Yeah, man. Yeah, dog. I'm alright. I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here.
You give thanks.
Thanks for having me. It's one of those days. That's just kind of. Can we move on to the next one? But we had a little bit of history. LeBron James is officially the number one scorer of all time in the NBA, and he did it wearing the Laker uniform. So, siyambongela. We are very, very proud. You know what I realized? Laker fans are Manchester United fans of the NBA. Like we have all the titles, we have all the history. It's just all the big records, all the big names signed with the Lakers. So even if you were a legend on another team or whatever, or you're a great player, right? When you put on the purple and gold, you ascend to a different level. Like Lakers is that brand. No matter whether we're good or we're bad, it's just your stock goes up because you were a Laker great, So I see the way we get delusional sometimes, and I'm just like, this reminds me of Senna and them. Like there's certain things that I've tweeted and said and seen, and I'm like, this is the shit I hate about United fans. But I look the other way, and I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. The NBA is not the Premier League. That's what happened this morning.
Hi, siyambongela. Y'all are puff. You guys wake up at 4 a.m. to watch that sport.
No, I mean, when it's even easier when you have a son, because now when he wakes up, you're like, fantastic, there's a game on. So it's beautiful. It works out. That was one of the most exciting things, actually, when I found out that my wife was pregnant. I was like, oh yes, I don't have to set alarms. It's no longer, the burden to wake up is no longer on me. I literally have someone who will wake me up, and I have no choice but to wake up. So I was excited about that. Because I pay a lot of money for NBA League Pass, and I was like, I'm not watching enough games of this, but we've been using it. This year, I'm getting my money's worth, so I'm very happy about that. Oh yes, guys, welcome back. It's another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
My name is Senna.
And we back again to do the damn things. Did you? Oh yeah, you guys did win. United. I was hoping United lost. It was Manchester City that lost. So I was getting ready to clown.
You have to be a different kind of hater to just want like that's like next level.
No, y'all deserve nothing good in life. I won't even lie to you. I am happy to see Arsenal win the league, and a lot of I would sooner see Spurs win the league. I don't want to see United fans happy. Y'all do not deserve nothing in life.
It's like I believe there's people who hate United more than they support their own team. Literally, I swear.
Listen, maybe.
The funny thing is, when their teams win and they play, Zwi, Dololo, rate your silence.
Nah.
And then if United has one bad performance, all of them, it's status, it's this. I'm like, when your team was playing, what were you doing?
Nah, fam. I
remember there's some Liverpool fans who tried to troll us when we lost to Arsenal. When we lost to Arsenal in the last minute. And then because I was like, you guys didn't win. And you're like 10.
Nah, fam. You know what?
So it's like,
it doesn't. League position doesn't matter.
It's just like
league position doesn't matter. It's just
now it doesn't matter.
Y'all do not deserve anything nice. Like I can stomach a Chelsea L if United gets embarrassed. I'm like, you know what? The weekend wasn't so bad. It wasn't so.
That's exactly what I was saying. Uguti, now you're one of them who hate United more than you support your own team.
Nah.
Because literally,
There's
Funny enough, you're now making the exact same argument I used to make when Sosha was in charge.
no,
It's the
listen,
funniest thing.
listen. We'll save. I was gonna say let's save the football chat for the end of the pod. I was gonna flip it
No, it's fine.
because people have been complaining. With if it's not football now, it's serious issues, and I forget that the pod releases first thing on a Friday, and it's like last week we kind of hit him with some heavy shit, and if I was also a listener, I might have been a little bit like, but first thing in the morning, anga kopi, anga gezi, and it's like, we're within. So, we'll flip it. I was even going to say,
Nah,
we'll
but
start with siyazama.
you have to be within the discourse.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you have to be within the
Absolutely.
discourse. You
But
can't,
no, but
can't
sometimes
go
it can
through
be too
life.
early. Sometimes it can be too early in the morning to be like, imagine instead if I called you first thing on 6XN, I'm like, bruh, we have to discuss, the state of the Twagazi Empire at 6 in the morning. That would be a lot, fam. That would be a lot. But
I don't know. I'm not getting it, but Zabon.
I can understand. I can see where it is. Where it's like, okay, you know what, like massage me into it. Kind of.
Where I will concede would be maybe a different sports segment altogether. That I might be like, okay, maybe not everyone's on the sports train, right?
No.
But our guys, things that affect all of
They'll be
us.
on the sports train one way or the other. As Lapa as Nengi, it is what it is. You get the whole
Yeah,
package.
also to make time to have a whole different thing. That's
It's not lockdown anymore, beloveds.
it's true.
We were just chilling at home, and it was like, hey, bro, let's just record. Things are tense, so we really have to be as flexible as possible to get as much in. But anyway, you were saying, which corner I'm making excuses for Mr. Potter. Yes, I am. Right, just because the difference between Potter and Ole is that I don't think Potter's actually had a fair opportunity for me to be like, okay, you just suck. I think a lot of people are prejudging him, and he's had a lot of things. Like obviously, you have a bunch of players thrown at you. You have the worst injury list in the league. There's a lot of factors. So I think I
But you
need
know
to
where
see.
Ole was when you guys were saying all those things.
No. But you guys are the same team, bro. Like it was like at the end of the day, yes, he had the injuries, but like it's
He was.
Ole didn't
He
get 8
was.
new players in January, right? So it
No.
was.
All I'm saying is, all I'm highlighting is the defense you've come to for Potter in 10th. By the way, I still think any decent football manager should not be 10th with that squad of players, irrespective of
True, but
injuries
then
or whatever. 10th is
we
embarrassing.
we to quote what's the name of the head of UEFA? Is it Giancarlo? I can't remember. Gianfantino, whatever his name is.
Infantino.
Infantino. There we go. We have snakes. We've discovered the snakes in the grass. So that's why I'm hesitant to pile on Potter, because there's just Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz need to get out of the team. Like, don't even have them dress. Like let me just see Potter with players who actually want to play, and not players who imagine. I'm still hearing Havertz talk about the credit that he still has off of that Champions League goal, brother. That was like 2020. There's no way. There's no way we can still be referencing one
And
goal against Manchester City, fam. I need new production. So, but anyway,
yeah, and
we'll see what happens.
the point I was making was Ole was second with McFred, and United fans were like, McFred in midfield, it's not gonna work. And he was ticking along, and we're like, he's not as bad as you guys are saying.
No,
The
he was
problem is
trash.
the board,
I saw
right?
him. I saw him
And
out coached week in week out. Ole was bad, objectively.
but he was at that time
Tactically, he was being
and I was like, guys, the
outcoached.
problem is the board. And Potter's tactically outcoached week in, week out.
Again,
That's why he's 10.
I think Potter. Where I blame Potter is like, why are you putting these same guys on the field who are doing nothing for you and making you look like you don't know football? That's where my beef with Potter is. That's the question I would ask him. Uti, these guys are literally doing nothing for you, bro. And then you end up in situations where you're now needing to make 2 or 3 or 4 subs by the 60th minute. That makes no sense. So that's a question I genuinely have for you. Where like, Chief, utembe, that's what I need to know. But anyway,
I don't think he's not that guy, and you guys are treating him with kids clubs, and the media is also treating him with a whole lot of kids clubs. Might be the English
yeah.
thing, but
No, we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
anyways,
he's got really solid excuses that like no rational person can ignore. But again, let me see what happens by the end of the season. If there's any glimmers of hope, if he can turn things around, or if obviously one thing that we'll touch on is the Manchester City situation and Liverpool. If either one of those two managers come available by the summer, I don't care what Potter has done, good or bad. Even if he wins us the Champions League, let him go. Let him go. Bring in Klopp or bring in Pep. That's just my mentality. If I'm Todd Bowley, like because we objectively we know that those are two better coaches than Potter. Like they just are, right? And then Bowley will give them the financial backing that
like
they need.
Tuchel.
No, nah, fam. Your boy Simon Jordan is always saying, "Gutikona, there's a story." Like, and the way he talks about it does sound like Tuchel was wilding a little bit, right? So, hey, it's an abrupt firing. I think all of us objectively can say this wasn't just you're not really performing. There must have been some other shit going on. It's not just he refused to sign Ronaldo. There must have been some other shit where just like, it's not working. And credit to Bowley for just cutting him loose and being like, hey, bruh, rather we do it now than do it in December. So I give credit to management.
Okay, no, Sizabona. I hope Potter does okay.
Potter will be fine. It might not be at Chelsea, but he'll be fine.
I don't think he will.
And I believe man like Enzo is in. He's within, fam. So hey, bro, you know how sad it is. Y'all sign a player. This is my last point about football, guys. You sign a player, and you see how much. This is how I felt when Felix played his first 45 minutes before that dumb tackle, and you see how much levels above he is your regular first team, and you can just see Uti frack. Chomlo knows what he's doing, and us really, hey, bro, I want to mount, looking at his feet like he's in grade 7, like guys, like it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, and it really kind of put it in black and white for me. This is why we needed those signings. This is why Bowley spent that money, because he saw that shit and he was like, nah, I wait. This is unacceptable. But anyway. One thing that I wanted to talk about is it's changed in the sense that that's no longer what this company claims to be doing anymore. But we touched on it briefly in terms of y'all's favorite chill streaming service, Netflix. So I'm not sure if you saw the article, but Netflix was had been said to have rolled out new password sharing barriers. Did you read the specifics?
I read it. I'm not sure if I still. Maybe actually pull it up. I read them, but basically they are clamping down on password sharing.
Yeah.
So this thing that you guys do, where you just send someone your logins.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they can watch from wherever.
From wherever in the world, whatever the case is. And I think so for people to have the full context of what happened is essentially Netflix was it first quarter of last year or at some point last year reported their first like a pretty sharp decline. So not even growth anymore, but they lost like 1 million subscribers. And everyone wants to pretend that the fact that the war in Russia and them cutting off Russia didn't contribute to a lot of that as well. But anyway, that's neither here or there. So Netflix lost 1 million subscribers, and it was estimated or projected that they were going to lose more, like up to 2 million or something like that. So obviously Netflix is in a panic. The investors, the stock is tanking, all this other stuff. So like literally with a lot of what you see with a lot of American companies, they're pretty much the public companies are pretty much ran by Wall Street. And what I mean by that is the Wall Street guys who invest, who get the hedge funds, the big guys, Goldman Sachs and whatnot. If they projecting like it doesn't look like 6 foot weights is gonna grow, even if Asons are cooking like it's lit, right? it doesn't matter, because what they're interested in is growth and sustained growth, right? So it's not about, oh, but their listeners are 90% of their listeners are happy and vile kumnandi. No. They don't give a fuck about that. It's about the growth. So it's like, you guys were gaining hundreds and hundreds of listeners every week, but now it's like people are listening less, or people are not listening. Not many new people are discovering your podcast. As soon as Wall Street flags that, investors, the towels of the world go, oh, okay, should we be worried here? Because I've been seeing consistent growth in this podcast. My money has been looking good. Should I, move the money elsewhere, right? Am I spooked? So that's essentially what happens in Wall Street when they publish these things. And that's why you'll see, I'm sure you've read and seen about, companies will have like an earnings call, like a shareholders call, right? To report earnings to the public. Because now we want to know, how much money did you make? How much growth did you have, right? Because then that informs people's investing opinions. So if it's green and you're projected to be in the green, guess what? Keep investing in 6-foot weights. But then it's like, last month 100 new subscribers, this month ish 75. It's looking peak. That other month it'll come down to 50. Already our stock is going to start tanking because it's not growing. Right, so that's a big thing that was now happening with Netflix, except in Netflix's case, they were losing subscribers completely. So what we know as consumers of Netflix is it's not about necessarily password sharing, which it's a big factor, but the thing is the content is whack, right? So the majority of the content. Think about anybody who has Netflix. How much time when you jump on Netflix do you spend looking for something that you actually want to watch, and how much do you actually watch new content? Because me personally, I end up watching shows that I've seen before because I know the satisfaction I'm going to get from watching it again. And I'm always nervous about just adopting a new Netflix show because it's like, it could be a hit, it could be a big miss. And that's what's most frustrating about Netflix, right? But anyway, they roll out these rules because they had said, towards the end of 2022, they're like, no, we're working on initiatives to crack down on password sharing because we believe that if we can cut that out, it was going to be like another 700,000 subscribers or something along those lines, right? Or 75 million subscribers. I can't remember. It was 750 million subscribers, or 700 or 75,000. So 71 million. My God, I sound like Zuma. It was one of those 75 million or 700.
Listen properly.
So either 75 or 750 million, right, is what they estimated as the growth if they crack down on password sharing. So some of the rules that they put in place was to say, hey, actually, we're gonna if Senna was the Netflix landlord, you have to sign into your home Wi-Fi network. So Netflix was going to establish the one your apartment lapan, right? That's the Wi-Fi network. That's the home network. And as long as you're in there, there's no issues, right? But you'd have to sign in your apartment once every 31 days. So within a 31-day window, you have to be signed in your home network. And then if you travel, right, then you let's say you go to Joburg or Zim or whatever. When you're now trying to watch Netflix in Zim, then you would get a code from Netflix. So you'd have to call customer service and they'll send you a code to be like, okay, this is your temporary code, and that code is only valid, gives you Netflix validity for 7 days. So essentially, if you're gone longer, you have to do it again and again and again and whatever. And then if anyone else, so now if Tawo says, hey, Senna, let me get your Netflix login, same thing. I have to get a code from you to allow me to log into the Netflix. But again, even at that, it's for 7 days, right? So that was effectively, I don't know, if you have the article in front of you, maybe I might have missed another big point, but essentially,
I think you've captured most of it.
So that was their brand new spanking,
most of it.
What's this thing? New policy that they wanted to roll out.
Yeah.
I will say that obviously there was a lot of outrage over the internet in terms of this is very stupid and why are they doing this? And then Netflix immediately came within a span of 24 hours and said, no. That wasn't a case for everyone across the world, namely America. This is just for it was Costa Rica, Chile and another country.
Chile and Peru.
Yeah, so they're like, no, specifically for that, for those, whatever the climate is over there. But again, we when we spoke about this initially, the question between the two of us was like, how do you actually crack down on password sharing? And I've put it out there, I've put it in the groups, I've put it out there in Twitter, and no one has answered my question to be like, this is how you crack down on password sharing that makes sense and doesn't ruin the user experience. But your reaction to what the potential ideas that Netflix are playing with in terms of trying to curb this password sharing.
So from what I understand, right? So if me and you live in the same household, right? We're fine,
Yeah.
right? We can access Netflix from the different devices and share the
Yes.
password, right?
Yeah.
And then even if I go away for something, as long as I've logged in to that same sort of location within 31 days, I'm okay,
No,
right?
so I think if you now access
So if I've
Netflix
logged
from
in
a
from my
new
house,
Wi-Fi, so if you went somewhere, maybe you went to work, I don't know, right? Because it wasn't really super
yeah,
clear. So if you went to work, you would need to get a code because that's no longer your home Wi-Fi network.
okay, okay. No. So I actually think so. It says here, if you're a college student, a frequent traveler, or someone who doesn't have a home base,
Yeah.
it gets a little trickier. Once you start introducing multiple devices, Wi-Fi networks, and locations, that's where the new rules will come into play. So in the US, if all the users on a Netflix accounts live in the same location, no problem, as long as within every 31 days, that person is seen connecting to the household sort of Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean, right?
So not
So if
necessarily
you're
in the
like
same
long
house.
term, no, but if you're living long term away from the house, then you're screwed.
Yeah,
Then you
like
can't share
so
the
like going
password.
to uni or something like that.
Yeah. But if you're like you go maybe between home and work, you're watching from home, I think you're okay. The problem is if you don't reside permanently in that space, then
But
lunenking.
Senna, this is my question to you, right? Even if they were to
Mm.
implement this, which I think is going to ruin the user experience because me as a Netflix landlord, why are you making it hard on me, right? I'm already paying. So I feel like, why
Mm-hmm.
I was happy with everything in the way it was before. Why are you interrupting me, right? That's number one. Number two is, based on my usage of Netflix, I pay for Netflix primarily for everybody else who uses it, and that's my parents and my wife, right? That's essentially and
Yeah.
my younger brother, my youngest brother. Those are the people on my Netflix. I
Mm.
pay for 4 screens, so technically, it's Yakwan, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not even cheaping out on the two screens either. So my thing is, even if like my little brother, this is not gonna have him be like, oh man, I need to sign up for my own Netflix. He's just gonna be like, bro, send me the code. And then I'll send him the code. And then, we'll
Mm.
watch Netflix. But it's not even like we're not at the era of we just binge watch Netflix consistently because there's so many other options, right? There's Disney Plus, there's HBO Max, there's all these different services, right? Abo Show Max if you're in SA, OSN if you're in the Middle East, and God knows whatever is in the UK, right? So there's so many streaming options, and
Yeah.
essentially, if I just wanted to watch a show, right, I will log into your Netflix, get the code, watch the show that I want. Within 7 days, I'll be done, right? Even if I'm not, I'll just get another code from you. So you know what I mean? Like you're not really. You've just created extra hoops, but I don't think determined mooches are not going to be vexed
Mm.
by this because they're like, okay, fine, just send me the code. And a lot of the time, the people who are sharing passwords, you're sharing passwords with people that are really, really close to you, typically your family, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a big deal. You're going to be annoyed. Why am I sending you a code at this point of the day? But like, you're going to send the code and you know what I mean? So like, I don't think this grand plan is going to, my parents would sooner be like, okay, I guess we can't use Netflix and just move on and just use
Yeah. Then that's
DSTV.
it.
So
Yeah.
that's what
100%.
I don't
And
understand about
that's
this whole rollout.
um I think the idea behind they're looking at creative ways to make money, right? So their incentive is a thought uguti, okay, if you really want Netflix, and you're currently sharing with Tabo, and then once we clamp down on password sharing, you'll get your own account
Yeah.
via separate debit order, and you'll be paying, I don't know, 300 Rand or 400 Rand a month, whatever it is. And that's it, right? So that's what they think the idea will be. I don't think the content, which comes back to the primary issue, I don't think the content on Netflix at present is good enough to justify that
Yeah.
for
Absolutely.
anyone, right? So the moment you introduce password sharing, I think they would expose themselves, because now you're going to see who really wants Netflix, right? So who really wants the platform. And then once you do that, and then I don't know if your parents would open their own Netflix account,
Nope.
or if they'll just be like, ah, no, it's all good, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Because
Let me
there's
just move on.
Amazon as well. I've completely forgot about Amazon Prime. You know, so
So
yeah. There's no way, dog.
DSTV was or has been expensive. So for those of DSTV premium is about 1,000 Rand, right? Per month. So that's the fee for a premium account, right? Now, for most people, they would then be able to, within the household, you have the password, you'd log in and be able to watch like football or whatever if you had the username and password, right? But DSTV has been experiencing a decline for years now, right? And that's a decline in maybe not so much the people who have DSTV, but the people who have premium, because they do have the other options, right? So most people then realize that actually there's no need for me to have DSTV premium. For 400 Rand, I can get compact, which will give me Supersport 3. I'll be able to watch my football and the main shows or whatever. And then I can still get Netflix and all the other Disney Plus and all the other sort of streaming sites, right? So it became, it stopped being economical, right? To have DSTV premium. It didn't make sense. So what you have, the option you have for DSTV Premium is you also have the DSTV Now option, right, which lets you stream online. I'm not sure if the other package is allowed, but I know that when you have Premium, then you can, watch from DSTV Now, and then anyone with logins from your household up to, I think it was up to 5 devices, you could watch from anywhere which it allowed. And then because their sales kept tanking and their income kept tanking and it all was going down, they thought that actually let's put a limit on, because they thought the same thing as Netflix. Would if we crack down on this password sharing thing, what will happen is more people will get premium, more people get their own DSTV account, and then they'll stream by themselves. So then you now, outside of the decoder, so you have the decoder which is at home, only one device can stream at a time,
Yeah.
right? So now you can't stream simultaneously, whereas in the past you could, right? If I could give you my password and then you could watch football, you could watch cricket while I'm watching NBA or while I'm watching Formula One. Like there were no restrictions, and then they changed it, so now only one device per household can watch
Which is wild.
DSTV at a time, which is wild, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about us. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us in the family, and me and my sister live together. Then there's a home which has a decoder, but then my parents may want to log in, right? So we've now got probably like 4 different households, and my sister may also want to log in. So we've now got like 4 whatever different households, and none of us can watch at the same time.
Yeah.
But no one then decided I'll open my own DSTV account. At no point in time, because
Yeah, because I
I
think
try
what you
logging
said,
maybe to
Uguti,
watch.
even the online one is only available with a premium account. I'm pretty sure that's the
I
case.
think so.
So no one is going to look
I'm
and
not
be
sure.
like,
I'm
right, you
not
know what?
sure.
Let me just incur another 1,000 Rand in an expense. Who's going to do that?
Yeah, no. So for me, right, when I try to watch, maybe I'm trying to watch F1 or I'm trying to watch the Premier League, and then maybe my parents have logged in, right? All I'll do is be like, guys, who has a streaming site
Yeah.
in the group
Yeah.
chat, and then
Let's just move
maybe
on.
go on Twitter, look for a streaming site, and then I'll just move on. That's where I'd watch F1. That's where I'd watch some football matches. Sometimes even like just leave the house, go to a bar, and watch the
Yeah.
game. Like I'm like, no ways I'm not gonna start incurring an extra 1,000 rand a month just so I can watch game. No. So, and I think that's where Netflix is also getting it wrong. Similar to DSTV, I don't think it incentivizes people to open their own
Yeah.
accounts. All it does is inconvenience them. And then if your content isn't good enough, and believe me, DSTV content hasn't been good for years.
Yeah.
If your content isn't good enough, people are just like, you know what, sharp.
It's not that deep.
I'm okay without it. Yeah, some of us will
You
just
know what?
stream. My parents will literally just be like, you know what, it's okay. I'll go on YouTube, watch news from there. It's not a big
I
deal.
would even venture a guess to say more people would prefer Netflix as just noise, right? I'm working, let me just put a movie in the background, or hey,
Yes.
clapping cheeks, let me put a movie in the background, right? So, and the thing is, they played into that because they were like, oh, Netflix and chill, right? And Netflix promoted that shit. And then also the fact they even have a tweet saying, oh, it's great being able to share a
We use
password.
Netflix for ambiance.
Yeah, it's for ambience, like literally, bro. Because like apart from maybe Netflix has 10 amazing shows. I think if maybe it might not be 10, but like 10 amazing shows. I'd say Stranger Things. I'm maybe struggling even to remember the rest, but I think I can give you 10. And again, the only reason I love Netflix
Yeah,
is
there's a
because
couple of good movies.
there's a couple of good movies, but me personally, Netflix is because they have a lot of anime, and it's like it consistently comes in. So I'm like, okay, cool, I like that. But even at that, like if they went and they did this and they pissed me off, I'll be like, you know what, I still change, bro. Because remember we talked about this whole even the thing with the DSTV OT. DSTV is 1,000 rand, right? How much is the Netflix subscription in SA per month?
I think it's about 350 or something.
350. Okay. So obviously a thousand
Let me just
rand
check.
versus 350 a month, right? And what the whole Netflix and streaming sites model is succeeding because of the fact that you have ilokuzin. You have multiple streaming sites, right? So you have Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO Max, and all these other things. But then if you're not gonna add up Netflix 350, let's assume Disney Plus also 350, let's assume HBO another 350. We're back to DSTV, you know? Like and the whole reason everybody flocked to Netflix was because, oh wow, I don't need DSTV anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to care for DSTV because Netflix offers me so much content. But then other companies, other studios were like, oh, right, because Netflix had all the Warner Brothers movies, they had all the Disney movies. Now you can't find any of that because why? Warner Brothers has their own streaming service. Disney has put their own streaming service. Universal, all these other studios have been like, Netflix, you guys can't be charging all this money by yourselves. We want in, and I think these policies might have worked if this was maybe 8 years ago. If Netflix was doing this maybe 8 to 10 years ago, then because there were the streaming giant and there was no competitors, you can afford to take the piss with your customers. But now it's so easy for me to move on to the next thing. And then those 10 shows from Netflix that I love a lot, guess what? I'm just going to stream them illegally. You know what I mean? Like if Stranger Things comes out, the last season, guess what? I'm sure there's a site, that's going to show me Stranger Things. So it's not going to be, I'd rather pay for the Netflix.
No,
but then if you guys are going to make it hard for me to pay for Netflix and enjoy, then, right, listen, I'm just going to stream. It's not that deep. I'm not pining for Netflix like that. And that's where I think here's a free idea, free game for Netflix. If I would sooner they say, okay, register the number of mooches that you have on your profile, right? And then they'll say, let's say five different people can register under your Netflix account, right? And then maybe you can say for the non-primary user, we limit your streaming time to 10 hours a week, something like that, where it's like, okay, the mooches can watch, right? And if there's like, hey, Brad, like they're always filling up their 10 hours, then it's like, okay, fine, you should probably get yourself a Netflix account, right? You should probably get yourself a Netflix account because like
100%.
clearly you really use this thing. But I think that's a better way to go about it. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna clamp down, where the primary, landlord of the Netflix account is going to be like, you know what, screw it. Then you're losing customers. You're not going to grow. It's going to be
Yeah.
even worse. And like, what the thing that makes me laugh the most is that if you go to any business class, right, the case studies that they're bringing out now, the one that they love, number one, is how Netflix replaced Blockbuster, and Blockbuster used to be the top DVD rental, company all around America, and
In
obviously,
the
yeah,
world.
I
Really?
don't know if they were global, but I know in America they were the number one. You go in, you rent the DVD. What we did as kids, right? Or you go to my video house
Yeah.
and buy the cassette, you rent the cassette, bring it back in 4 days or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
That was the base model. Netflix comes in, and Blockbuster is now just a case study. It doesn't exist anymore, you know. And
Yeah.
Netflix, ironically, might finesse their way into
Face the same.
useless policies where someone is going to be like, you know what, that makes no sense. Because again, if I'm a competitor, if I'm Disney, or rather, if I'm Amazon, especially, because Amazon's got fuck you money, right? If I'm Amazon, I'm going to let Netflix go and piss off their customers and be like, hey guys, come to Amazon. We will let you share 1 million passwords. And like,
We don't
yeah,
care.
I would be plotting on their downfall, fam. Like that is what I'd be looking at, because if you institute this, I think password sharing is something that they're just gonna have to live with and figure out a way around it. But
Yeah.
clamping down like this, I genuinely do not think that it's a smart idea based on all the feedback I was seeing online and that, bro. Like when the world is in unison, like if you piss off people to the point that we're all in the same boat, then you messed up. like, like at that point, I can't defend you.
The other guys who I think, obviously, since we're on the whole streaming and whatever platform, Netflix killed not Netflix alone, Netflix probably with Marvel at the same
Yeah,
time, killed the cinema going thing,
you think so?
right? Because back in the day, oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think that
100%,
was more so
100%.
COVID than
Back in the day,
the streaming websites. I mean, they stepped up during
I had
COVID,
actually started
but I don't know.
their decline started before COVID. Because people then realized that actually, I don't need to take a girl to the movies, buy popcorn and drinks for what I think at New Metro, large popcorn is like 90 rand, and then you add a drink to it, it comes up easy to what 150 per
Yeah,
person, 160 per person, 160 per
and
person
as
as a
your
guy,
that's your
320,
monthly
right?
subscription to Netflix. Konapo, konapo.
Konapo Konapo, that's just on snacks at the
Yeah.
movies, right? Angati tickets. So 2 tickets. Yeah, because me and my partner went to watch Avatar. Went to watch Avatar, and I think the Avatar tickets were about 125. 125 by 250, add
Yeah.
320, do the math, like 570 or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Just to go watch a movie at the
Yeah.
cinemas. And I think when Netflix started rolling out, they had decent content, like Shooter, a couple of good movies which maybe you'd never watched
Yeah.
before. They're also action flicks, there's chick flicks, there's something for everyone. And then you're there like, oh, okay, I'd rather just sit at home, watch this, get my own popcorn for freaking 8 rand at Spa, get my own drink, get a Coke there, like 2 liter, I can get it for 20
Yeah.
bucks. And then I'm done, right? I don't have to worry or vex about all these other things. Uguti, okay, and now I need to get home and this and get to the cinema. So all that sort of led to a decline of movie going, right? So people don't go to the movies anymore. And then you add Marvel to it, which made larger than life movies where the only reason people now wanted to go to cinema was to watch like franchises which were incredible sci-fi and 3D and all these visual effects. No one wants to go watch a rom-com. You're not gonna pay what 500 rand to go watch a rom-com at the
Yeah.
cinemas. No,
Yeah.
you're not. And then COVID hit, and then Stir Kinoko go into business rescue. And then people were trolling them like online. Like that's when you realize, when you don't listen to your consumers, you end up in trouble. Because I think they went into business rescue, but at the same time, before that, they'd shown a bit of arrogance about the whole price of going to see movies thing, where people were like, guys, it's not making sense. How are you charging 90 Rand for people to buy
Yeah.
popcorn. It does not make sense. And things like this, when you fast forward maybe 5 or whatever years, and you look at how you didn't listen to your consumers, backtrack, you'll find yourself in a difficult scenario. So I'm not sure if Netflix will get there, but they might go there.
But you know what? It's that, remember what I mentioned about Wall Street, right? It's that pressure to appease your investors that leads these companies to do dumb things. Because initially, before they go public or before they get really big, it's really about what? It's about my consumers, like the people who patronize my product. That's who I'm thinking about, making the user experience better for. But the moment it comes to what's this thing called Wall Street, it's like, hey guys, our investors. That's where things now start to take a downturn. And I think part of who's to blame for this is not just the streaming services being there. That's a big factor, like you said. But I think, and you mentioned it as well, the movie theaters themselves haven't stepped it up. Like, obviously, yes, there's streaming,
No, they
right?
haven't.
And they were also a DSTV in the sense that if you want to see snakes on a plane, guess what? Get your ass in a car and come to, my new metro, right? Come to my theater. That's what the standard used to be for years. But then now, guess what? I can watch a bunch of movies. They might not be the latest one, but I can watch a bunch of movies. And if I wait long enough, 2-3 months, that latest movie is going to come to what? It's going to come to Netflix, right? Or whatever streaming service that I have. And movie theaters sat and did nothing. So at that point, they have to be able to be mobile, to be like, you know what, guys, things are peak, because guess what's happening? The Netflix is taking over. What can we do to the movie going experience? Can we make it better seats? Do we start, like, there's some theaters here in Dubai that will serve you like a full meal. Like you'll have like dinner and a movie, right? So like proper dinner, hot food, not just popcorn or a hot dog or whatever, like a whole meal, right? There's premium theaters. So there's certain things where, okay, that will get me out of my chair. So like, and what has helped is obviously for me, I love comic book movies. I love movies with spectacle. So like certain movies will come out where I'm like, this has to be seen on the big screen. Like, I don't care what happens, but this one is for the big. Like when Doctor Strange came out, Batman came out, like these movies, I'm like, no. I need to see it on the giant screen. I need to see it in IMAX. And then obviously 10 years ago, I needed to see it in 3D, right? That's what makes theater going experiences special. But if you're just gonna be like, okay, whatever rom-com comes up, like, bro, who's taking their babe to watch a rom-com these days at the movies? There's no way. Like do you know how many rom-coms are on Netflix right now?
Flick that's out. Yeah. I'm not sure if you've actually watched. There's this new flick with J-Lo and that other guy, Shotgun Wedding.
Nope. Nah, I don't do rom. I hate them. Like they're the same plot over and over again. It's very boring. I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, action movies also, to some extent, have the
No,
same
but it's
plot.
a different Bama. You know what I mean? Like, it's like action movies I can vouch for. To be like, nah, the way Rambo whipped his ass versus the way, Creed whipped his ass. That's different. I know that's different. Like it's I can point, and because my wife tried to do that. Oh yeah, but your comic book movies are the same. I'm like, no, babes, listen. Spider-Man is not Batman. It's not Superman. It's not the X-Men. Those are all different, and I need to give them their dues.
Yeah.
But rom-coms, I'm sorry, it's the same shit. We go to a beautiful island that the water is so blue, it looks amazing, and it's I'm feeling the boy. The boy does something stupid. I'm like, oh my god, you betrayed me. You betrayed my trust. They have one conversation and they kiss at the end. They get married, bruh. Like, guys. Jolani what are we going to? Why are you watching rom-coms? You can live that shit. That's what annoys me. Like, I go to the movies, right? And the type of entertainment I seek is shit that's never gonna happen. Dragon Ball Z is never gonna happen, right? Fast and Furious is never gonna happen. Like, it doesn't exist, right? So therefore, I'll watch it because I'm like, yo, this shit is so
Fair
unreal.
enough.
But a rom-com, bro, I live a rom-com every day in my house. Like every day, dude. Every day. Like
Try live a rom-com.
like no.
My life is a rom-com.
honestly, bro, in this rom-com lap, like it's like, why would I sit and watch a movie when I'm like, first of all, my wife is funnier, my wife is finer. Like, why would I just want to watch J-Lo? Like, it's not doing it for me, right? As soon as I want to take my wife out,
I guess the idea behind it, women will say that it invokes certain emotions, blah 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 blah
no,
blah.
but again, I
That
still
stuff.
go back to the
Jim,
same argument.
the
The
only
same
reason I
emotions will
watch
be
them,
invoked in real life. But guess what, Sam?
yeah.
Guess what? What my
Yeah.
wife is not able to do is have retractable adamantium claws like Wolverine, right? She cannot manipulate metal on all surfaces like Magneto. She is not Iron Man, right? Neither is she Utanos, right? So like it's like, bro, I can't look at my wife like, babe, I'm gonna need you to fly. Like that's, but guess what? I can be like, babe, here's my card. Go online and buy whatever dress that you want, and I'm gonna be home at 6. And I want you to be looking sexy and wear your best heels. We're going out for dinner at Nobu. I can do that. I can do that, right? So why am I watching some random white guy who's a heartthrob do it? Like, that doesn't make no sense to me.
I hear you. The reason I watch is because sometimes some of the dialogue is funny, right? Like someone will write a funny script. So when it's
I
got
think the
like
word you're looking for is cheesy.
funny, right? Like when it's got like
That's cheesy, bro.
some guys are funny, dog. Some guys are funny. Some
Okay.
people are
Give
funny.
me a reference. Give me a movie.
Brrr.
You see? There's
Okay,
nothing.
there's the one with Gerard Butler. What's that one called?
I don't know.
The one
The
where
Gladiator.
no man, we're talking about rom-coms. The one
London
where
has
he's
fallen.
acting with the one where he's acting with that blonde girl. I think he's funny in that. Like he's very funny, and it comes across like there's a couple of laughs in there, right? So I understand why some people may feel like, okay, I enjoyed that, right? But I'd never go to the cinema for that, for the reasons that you have listed. And I was talking about Shotgun Wedding just now. It just came out. And then I dragged my partner to watch Avatar, and then I asked her also, do you want to watch this at the cinema? Like Equalize 1-1 or whatever. Like, nope, we can watch this at home. And then likewise, we streamed it, and it wasn't too great, to be honest. But story for another day. But I agree with you when you say Guti cinemas have let
Nah, they fell off, bro.
us down. I don't know what will, because I think if people are going to be paying $350 for something, dude, $350 is a steak at a very good restaurant.
Yeah.
It's not popcorn.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't create streaming platform for some movies, not all, but
What do you mean? Theaters?
yeah, like cinemas, like Ster-Kinokor
Because
creates a streaming
no,
channel.
they would have to pay for the rights, though. They would
Yeah,
have to pay for the rights for that.
yeah. So then it's like a blockbuster movie, right? You're paying. Well, I guess they want to make it pay per view. So for each movie, yeah, but you can.
Yeah, it's just but I don't think, I don't know. I'd need to hear your idea out more fully.
Okay.
Because I just think
Let's
as
put
a
it
movie
this way.
theater. Okay. I'm listening.
Ster-Kinokor creates a streaming platform which has a whole bunch of movies, right? Throw it all in there. Boom. And
But
then
movies from where, though?
no, all the new movies, right? So Fast 10 comes out next year. They have it on their
Uh-huh.
platform, and then you pay whatever you'd pay at the cinema to watch it, except now you're watching from the comfort of your own home.
But here's the problem. Fast and Furious belongs to Universal.
Yeah.
Why would Universal allow the movie theater to have a streaming service when Universal has their own streaming service? They could throw it on.
Okay.
That's the big problem.
And then they could make it
it's all about who
available.
owns the movies, who owns the content. Because at the end of the day, if it's if you can make money out, and that's why when Netflix came up, right, the whole thing was all of these studios didn't think something like Netflix could be a hit. Then Netflix becomes a hit, goes to all these studios and says, Uti, because it started off as a DVD rental company. It was exactly like Blockbuster, right? Except the difference was they were delivering to your house. You had to go to Blockbuster and say, Mfunale. Netflix, you'd be like, you go online and be like, I want Snakes on a Plane, and then here's my address. They mail it to you. When you're done, you mail it back. That's how Netflix started. So now when they evolved into, oh no, you don't even have to mail shit, just stream it on from the comfort of your home. Then what Netflix did is they went to these studios and said, hey, we will pay you X amount of money for us to have your movie on our platform for 2 years. Those movie studios are more than happy to do it because they do it with airlines, right? So they're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Tata, here's our money. Every time a movie is streamed, they got X amount of money. Done. So Netflix had the rights to all these movies. They grew. They made a ton of money, billions and billions and billions of dollars. Disney's like, look at wins. There's no way Netflix can keep chowing. We have all of this content. We have Lion King. We have all of these movies and all of these High School Musical. Disney has a lot of IP, right? That's old IP. And they're like, if we can package it all together and charge people $10 a month, why are we letting Netflix do it and we don't get the money? We just get like rights money, right? No. We want our own subscribers. Disney launches Disney Plus. HBO does the same. Hey, we own Warner Brothers, HBO, and a whole bunch of other things. We have the Harry Potter franchise, which is just sitting there idly by doing nothing. People will pay money to stream Harry Potter. So guess what? HBO Max is available. So because of all of these things, right? There's no movie studio that's gonna say to because the theaters don't own any IP, right? They're just give us exclusive access to your movies, right? And then we will charge people an arm and a leg so that your movies make billions of dollars. And that's the basic model. But now the problem is the theater experience is not living up to it because of all of these streaming options. That's the problem. Yeah, well, and until theaters
so then you'd rather
like,
for example, like you said with Avatar last week, you're like, I'd rather just wait for it to be available in digital than go watch it at the cinemas.
Absolutely. It's not worth it. So it's too long. I don't like it enough. And I know within a 3-month span of it being released, it's going to be on Disney Plus because Disney owns Avatar. So I'm willing to wait it out, right? And outside of Avatar, all other Disney movies were going to streaming 45 days after release, bro. 45 days. Quick. That's a month and some change.
Remember something that Matt Damon said, right? So he said, I think I'm not sure if I've spoken about this, but he said back in the day, even if your movie flopped in cinemas, you'd make big money from VCR and cassettes, DVD, all that stuff, right? That would come.
Yeah, because it was per unit, bro.
Yeah, like that was powerful,
we'd go to Game. Like my whole thing at Game was like, I want to buy a movie. My parents were like, all right, you can buy like 2 or buy 3.
To buy a DVD.
So you buy 3 DVDs and you go home feeling accomplished. But I've got 3 new DVDs. 3. You know, that used to be our life, bro.
Yeah, and they'd make like, and that's probably what, and they were probably, how can I put it, lazy back then, right? You make some stupid movie, it goes to cinema, it flops, you don't care because some dumbass is just gonna walk into a rental shop or a cassette store. They'll look at the cover, they'll like it, and then done.
And because we didn't really have internet back then. It was so sad because like you would see, like you said, Matt Damon, like, oh, that's the guy from what's his franchise?
Jason Bourne.
That he's famous.
Jason Bourne.
That's Jason Bourne. This movie must be good. And then you've bought a DVD for $10 or whatever, and it's crap. Bro, we used to be hoodwinked because you can't go on like now you can go on like Rotten Tomatoes and be like, okay, is this movie good or not? Or I'll go and I'll watch a trailer. And then I have instant access to the trailer now, and I can make a buyer's decision.
You know, I love him, and he's my favorite action star of all time. But a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, I've been reading up on them after the fact. Like actually go through like all of them, like Sudden Death, Time Cop, Kickboxer. I think the one that's like got a very good rating is probably the other kickboxing one, the underground fighting thing. What was that again? I've forgotten. But a lot of Van Damme movies are with Double Impact. They're all like Rotten Tomatoes 38, 20 something. But he was like the biggest movie star of all time, just
Yeah.
on sales and whatever alone. The moment you had Van Damme in your movie, it was powerful.
Now Van Damme, I know him from ETV. It's Friday Action Night, you know. So that's where I watch a lot of
Yes.
his movies. Whilst we anticipated the content at hours. Now I'm joking.
Man, I don't know what you're talking about, personally.
Hey, neither do I, bro. Neither do I. Yeah, I work for the code of conduct. Lokuzen. Commission. You remember that message I used to run on ETV? Oh man, hey, bro, those guys really pambanisa a lot of things. I remember. See, you said I can't say names, but there's a certain guy, who went to school with us, who came and he was like, guys, because like his parents were like locking the TV or something. I don't know, some shit was happening with him right over the weekend because they knew what would happen, you know, after midnight, right, on ETV. So what he came, he was excited. It was like a random, like it was Wednesday actually. It was Wednesday, and then he's like, guys, we're like, what? He's like, guys, like I found the key. I'm like, what do you mean you found the key? He's like, if you go to Action X at the same time, it's lit over there. And the niggas were like, what? It's like, yeah, go Action X, midnight, hey, Zakala, bro. And, bruh. Went home, and I went on the, you know, you go on the TV guide, went to Action X, and I flipped all the way, and I was like, oh, shit. Bruh. So, and this just goes back to what we were saying about last week in terms of like parents and kids. Like, bro, this school is a terrible place, man. Because you'll be doing your best to protect your kid, and then some random kid who's being put under pressure by his parents has found success. Now your kid has access, and you don't even know. It's like, it's such a madness, man.
So, story keeping all anonymity. Story that I know. I know a guy in Form 1. Form 1, yeah. Who, so like you said, right? So we had, growing up, we have guys whose parents are stricter. They'd like lock the TV or send them to bed early or whatever, right? And they couldn't watch those channels after the fact, right? So ETV after 12, parents were like strict on it. They were like, no, right? Cool.
Yeah.
So another guy whose parents were either like flexible or they went around. Either way, this first guy would record the ETV stuff on a cassette on behalf of the second guy, and the second guy would purchase the tape.
You're lying.
Dude, I'm not lying. It was a weekly thing.
Wait, so like he'd record it onto a cassette?
Yeah, onto a video cassette. And then record into a video cassette and then sell it to him.
That's wild.
Hey, dude. That was powerful.
I'm gonna need these names.
So they had this. Wild. They had this going. It was like a proper business, which this guy ran for like a little bit, and he'd record.
So just with the one customer, or he started to develop new customers?
No, of course there are other guys who they would then come and be like, "How? Oh, okay, or
that is wild. Imagine being a mom or a dad thinking that, hey, this cassette here, I doubt this to more on it. Meanwhile, your son is taking it to CBC.
But it was, so here's the thing, right? Because Form 1, I don't know how it was for everyone else. Form 1 for me was a huge revelation, right? It was like a lot of
things, Form 1 was a movie, bro.
A lot of things were lifted from my eyes, right? Because I think, like we always say, like Whitestone was a very coddled environment.
It was a bubble.
It was a very, it was a bubble. It was a proper bubble. Then it got to CBC, and then you start learning about all these things, right? People are talking about, fun erotica, and you're like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
And then people talking about ETV after 12, and like, ETV after 12, yin leo.
But you know what's in, like, and like you said, we came from this bubble where we were like as close to pure as possible. Like there was dumb shit that we did, but it was like more. It was always PG, right, for the most part.
Dude,
apart
it was
from the ass
silly stuff,
scandal. it was PG. And I remember getting to CBC and that transition, meeting so many new guys who came from so many different schools, and like how raw some of these niggas are. And it was like, wait, your parents let you do what? Like, what are you watching, bro? Like, I felt like,
Like
hey,
even the drinking story you spoke about last week, right? Like that was such a huge thing when it happened at Whitestone, right? It was like, wow, like what the
yeah,
hell? This guy was
yeah,
drinking. It was the biggest thing in the
yeah,
year. And then you go the following, literally a few months later, you're in Form 1 and half your stream drinks. And you're like, how?
yeah.
So in Click Village, this is just standard, it's normal.
No, not half, Senna, not half. Like maybe like, let's say
Okay,
like
maybe not half, maybe a quarter.
20. Yeah, maybe a quarter or a fifth.
25% of
it
Form
wasn't
1.
that bad.
But
But it
me, I felt
increased
like
obviously steadily over each form.
over, yeah, of course. I
Each
think by
year
the
there was
time
a steady growth. Wall Street would laugh.
we reached upper six, I was probably one of a handful of guys who didn't touch alcohol, literally.
And then now you're well within it, Mr. Moy.
It's capitalism.
Nah, for real, dog. For real. Anyway, I think let's wrap up this topic. But it was. I love how shit just mutates, bro. We started from Netflix, crackdown. Now we're talking about ETV specials and all this other stuff. But anyway, we need to move on. But yeah, one thing that I wanted to, I guess let's bring it to the forefront. Siyazama. We haven't done Siyazama in a while, and we've got a couple that I wanted to just make sure that we covered. So these are two. One is obviously the actual submission from a listener, and then two would just be coming from me, just random things that I saw that I thought would fit under Siyazama, and actually probably just two total. The other one, I don't know if it fits under Siyazama, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, right? So, Mr. Moy, as you know, Siyazama is that part of the show. So if you're a listener, you can email us at 6footweights@gmail.com or DM us on Twitter, same handle, 6FT on Twitter. So Gmail or Twitter for both, same handle. Hit us up if you have a point of order, something that you want to ask us, something that you want to share. Definitely let us know. I think also we need to touch on like Valentine's Day, the do's and don'ts, since it's the big day next week and we won't be, we'll never release an episode before then. But Mr. Moy, this is a bit of an awkward situation. Awkward situation.
Okay.
So,
right.
so we have Ukai, right? Guy comes through, he says, yo, I've been with my woman for a year, right? He's been with his woman for a year, they're dating. That's his girl. Everything's been good. He recently discovered, so this is the mistake that he made. He went through Ukel's phone. You never do that. Man
Don't do
or
that
woman.
one. Don't
you
do
never
that
do
one.
that.
Don't. Let me tell you, I always say if you're going to go through someone's phone, just make sure that you're ready to move away and walk away from the relationship at that
Absolutely.
moment. Maybe people didn't listen to the podcast in the beginning. I think I once spoke about my own testimony of phone searching. It's never ended well. It's
been a difficult one.
Yeah. And that was in a relationship which I considered long term back then. And then you go through a phone and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
This is the end. And I'm always like, you're always going to find something that will piss you off. But in the worst case scenario, you will find something that will.
You'll find something that will help
So
you
don't
lose weight.
open it.
That's unintentional.
Yes. So always do it when you're ready to walk away.
I think that's fantastic advice from you, Mr. Moyo, because what the good brother found. Whew, hey, it was tricky. So anyway, my man goes through my girl's phone, and he says that it wasn't even on like a "I don't trust you" tip. It was just again, I don't know who gets these compulsions, but he was like, yeah, I just wanted to just check out what she's up to, right? I wanted to just investigate. So goes to the phone and says, well, there was really nothing, WhatsApp was empty, everything was cool, right? And then the problem came when he now entered her Snapchat. And that's where everything went, left. So he goes through Snapchat and she's the kind of group that he's in is like a lot of the friends know each other, right? And the guys and the girls in that kind of space, in those circles, tend to know each other, right? So a lot of his boys and a lot of her girls know vice versa. You get what I'm trying to say, right? So that's the situation. So then he sees one of his not his boys like close, right? But a dude that he knows relatively well.
Someone he knows.
Yeah, so it's like so the example that he gave was like when there's a braai, this one is typically always invited. Right. So it's not that close, but it's like when them big braais, that there's certain characters who are always gonna be there. He's one of those characters that are always gonna be there, right? Because he was the same as well. So he then sees the Yab's name, right? So it's girlfriends, family for the most part, not really family, but like people that he was like, oh, okay, no worry, and then boom, this random one is in Snapchat, and it was something that he had sent her. So it's like it says opened. So this was like maybe 4 or 5 hours ago, type of shit. The man clicks, right? And he says there was nothing, right? But then he scrolled up and then Snapchat loaded the history because there were saved messages. He then starts to run into texts where his girl and that dude were sexting. So he's starting to see, literally they're going at it. And what was wild is that he said she doesn't really show off her inner freak like that, and that's something that he's trying to address in the relationship. Meanwhile, this sexting was wild. All he said was dirty talk, anal beads. That's all I need to say. And I was like, what? He's like, yep. So man is scattered, right? So anyway, he's seeing that and he keeps scrolling because it's on different occasions. So like it'll go, and then maybe like 2 weeks or a month type of thing, like in terms of the timestamps. So this has been going on for a minute. Then he keeps scrolling, and then he says he started seeing obviously her sending pictures of the boobs and vice versa. They were trading nudes. It was peak. So he says at this point he was so sick that he actually threw up when he saw like he had gone through that. Like
I feel like throwing up now.
So
I'm listening to it. Like I also feel sick.
Yeah. So at this point, that's he put down the phone, and they were supposed to have gone out like partying or on a date or whatever. And it just never happened, obviously, because man is distraught.
Of course.
And then he hits up the dude and to be like, "Hey, bruh, what the fuck?" And you know what this man said? He goes, "Chief, I'm sorry, but this one you're gonna have to charge it to the game. You knew who she was."
See, that's also disrespectful.
Like, do you know how wild it is for another man to tell you knew who she was? Charge it to the game. That is some wild shit. So anyway, it's a tense situation. Obviously, he's broken up with the girl, and she's trying to call him and talk. Hey, bro, let's talk about it. I'm so sorry. Hey, no one's treated you better than me. Those. That's the situation. But
no, I think on an objective scale, maybe I'm projecting, but on an objective scale, I don't know how she can make that argument because I feel like that is one of the worst things you can do to someone. So I don't know where this whole better than me comes from. because people don't do that.
No, hey, bro,
Or they do
it's
it, but
tricky.
it's only the worst people who do it.
So it's tense for Upoy. So you're just like, hey, what are you fellas thinking? Is there hope? Is there hope for redemption? Should I work to try and forgive her? That's the question. Or should I move on? Yeah.
You can't tell people what to do. I can only say put myself in that scenario and then figure out and then try and figure out what needs to what I would do, right? I'd likely say no because unfortunately he saw the text. You won't forget, bro.
Yeah.
You won't forget. Like you might be cool with the person eventually after a while. Maybe you still learn to love them again properly, and the relationship will be nice. But that thing will always be in the back of your head. And the worst thing you can do, probably for the benefit of both parties, is not to go back because what's going to happen is it'll come up somehow, somewhere where there'll be a lack of trust, right? Next thing she says, I'm going out with my girls, you'll be like, Next thing you see a Snapchat notification, you lose weight again.
So what
You
the claim
know,
is that they never actually cheated. Like in terms of during their relationship, there was no cheating. It was just sexting and trading pictures. That's what the claim
I
is.
I feel like that's still cheating. I don't believe it. I don't believe the claim. Because here's what happens, right? When people get caught, right? People will always confess to what they can get away with, right? So if you catch a person cheating once,
Yeah,
right? What's the first thing they're going to say?
it was a one-time thing.
It was just this one time.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. It's probably happened a couple of times, but then in the spur of the moment, you've identified, fuck, I've been caught. Okay, I need to admit to this,
Yeah.
but let me admit to enough
Water
which
it down.
lets me get away with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you forgive, maybe if they know that you'd forgive sexting, right? Because sexting would be more forgivable than actual sex. Then you'll be like, okay, cool. If I admit to this, he'll forgive me. He's likely to forgive me than if it was a full on thing, right?
But
And that's
sometimes
where
it could be
people will
mercy,
always,
bro. Because me, I don't know if I'm prepared to know the full story. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if it's like if the lie, if you're like again, if you can sell me the whole it was once and I believe it, honestly, I think Zama that route. Because I don't know. Me, I'd be wrecked mentally. If you come and tell me,
but you know what the
hey,
problem
chief,
is,
the
right?
whole relationship is Kyle. Aye. Nah.
But you see, you know what? My issue would be, I think in my mind, unfortunately, I would always think it was more than that.
But at least it's unproven.
Even
At least it's
if
unproven.
you've sold me, but you see, even if you've sold me the story, I might be like, okay, no, trust, I believe you. But something in the back of my head would be like, okay, maybe when I think about it, it's more. How can I put it? Maybe when I think about it, it's worse than what it actually was, right? So in my head, I'd be like, actually, you guys are sexting. I'd be like, hey, maybe these owns have been doing more than that.
Yeah.
And then even if it didn't happen, I'd probably think worst case scenario, it's been happening for a while, right? So your mind, or maybe my mind would always go to, okay, this has been happening. It's happened several times. All those times umuntu would say this, maybe they were here, maybe they were there. That's why I probably wouldn't go back personally. That's why I'd be like, no, deuces, it's fine. Just because it would create an unhealthy environment, not even just for you, but you create an unhealthy environment for her to be in a relationship context, right? Now she's there dating you or being with you like in the thing, and when you're now weird about it, right? She'll crack a joke and be like, fuck this bitch. Something like that, right? Like kuningi, bro.
Wow, wow, wow. You're actually wild.
Or you watch something on TV, you see cheating, and you're like, huh?
Is
Yeah,
this
but
is
you know how black parents be.
exactly,
If you're
exactly.
caught drinking or something, now every time there's like an alcohol ad, like, does alcohol.
I was even getting blackmailed.
Yeah, I remember the one time my mom found I remember I told the story of this thing, right? Where someone sent me a video which was of ETV content on my phone, which I hadn't even watched. I think that's what makes me upset about that thing. I didn't even watch it. It was just there in my inbox. And then she used my phone, she sees the video, and then every time there was like an awkward sex scene on TV, it would be like, you know what I mean, right?
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That is
So
hilarious.
in those scenarios and in those circumstances,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go back. I don't know. Maybe Maps would. The Tabo is different. Tabo is of the school of thought that ignorance is bliss.
it
I
really
don't
is.
believe that ignorance is bliss because somewhere along the line, someone is taking you for idiot. Uh, so it's bliss for you, but
No,
just know that
obviously,
someone looking
you
at
just have
you.
to be good at what you do, right? Like, I want you, and if that's not you, if you ain't slick, then it's like, nah, then just it is what it is. But if you can, get away with it, then bruh, save me the pain, dog. Because I've seen people who have been told the full truth, and bruh, these people are in tatters, though. Like it's just like, ish, bruh, it's, so like every single day when we went together, were you like screwing her? And it's just like, bruh, like those thoughts that come, and it's just, your mind is just a very very bad place, right? When that kind of shit happens. But I think in this situation, personally, what stood out to me was the fact that he's asking for her to get freaky. She's like, nah, I ain't freaky. And then she's out here being freaky with another nigga. That's where I would be like,
But
nah,
women tend to do that.
red
Have you
flags.
not
No, no, no.
have you not heard stories that women, and I'm not sure, maybe a woman can actually come and like explain this, or maybe we can like ask Nat to come and explain one day. But women have a tendency to categorize guys. So they'll apparently know with you, okay, that's the one I'll marry. That's the one I will do freaky things with. That's the one I'll friend zone. That's the one who will, who'll do X, Y, Z, and ABC and be freaky and whip me and spank me and all that ish. That's how they,
That's
look at
mad.
it
I think that's a
sometimes.
red card offense, bro. Like I think that's where I'm like, chief, that's a red card offense. She gotta go because some other ngi has it better than you. So nah, fam, go where you
But
want
maybe
to.
she doesn't want. But maybe here's the thing, and I'm not defending women, by the way. Everyone who's listening to 6 Foot Weights will be aware that I don't think women are good people. Uh, Let me reiterate that. But she might be from a school of thought with you. I don't want you to think less of me, right? Because men,
No, but
admittedly,
if
do
you're
have the
asking
tendency of
for it
looking
though, that's
at.
different. Like I think it's if she was the one who wanted to do these things, right? And he's like your staunch old school Ndebele guy. What's this? Then it's like, yeah, I can understand the way how she went and she did things elsewhere. But if you're going and be like, hey, ma'am, I want to do this and this and this, and she's like, no, that's not my spillion. Tologuti, definitely, yes, that's my spillion. Then it's like, that's nah, man, that's too much. That's too much. So like, it's obviously his fault for searching the phone. But yeah, now that you've done it, touches a move, though. Like I don't think you can, respectfully go back and things are okay because obviously even if let's say he forgives you and all that, right? Then what?
Yeah.
Is she gonna want to be freaky? Do those whatever kinks that he wanted to do? Like
You see now,
is that back on the table?
every time she does it with you now, you're gonna be like, she's been doing it with that other nigga.
Yeah, no.
You know what I
Essentially,
mean, right? It's just
if
not
she's
going to
busted
be
out the
healthy.
finishing moves, bro. And you're like, wow. So for a whole year, me, I was on that stroller and beans diet. Meanwhile, you had a whole menu, dog. Like it doesn't make any sense at all. But no, I guess so. Our advice to Ukai is, hey, chief, yeah, move on. I think it's R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the next one. This was something that I
What a
saw.
sad story.
It is. No, it's like, I mean, I laughed a lot, but it was just tense. So anyway, what's this? Oh yeah, the next one was one that I saw. I even shared it on Instagram. I saw it on the what's it called? I think it's called Shits and Gigs podcast. So like someone,
Oh yeah.
it was a tweet that they were referencing.
That's the one with those two guys and that
The
light skinned guy and the other dark skinned
and the
guy, where
dark-skinned
they.
guy. So their shits are funny, bro. Like it's I tried listening to the podcast actually, but it was like I didn't actually like the experience as much, just because I've seen so much of their content in like short TikTok form. So it's like it's an intense 1 minute of like laughing always, but it wasn't like, so my mind kind of went into like, okay, cool, they have a 1 hour thing. It's gonna be that same feeling for 1 hour, right? But it wasn't. So I didn't, maybe I need to give it a couple more episodes, but I didn't, so not to its whack or anything. It was just one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, so the laughs are kind of spread out, which is normal for a pod. But it's just when you're so used to, all I see is your TikTok on your content on Instagram and TikTok. You've got 30 seconds to a minute. Shit's always fire, so I had an unrealistic expectation of those guys. But yeah, anyway, in terms of what they had said in terms of the scenario, Tuakona, what would you do if your girl gets dropped off by a G-Wagon by your yard, right? And then she says, Uti, that was my Uber or my Bolt. That's her excuse to you. When you're like, who was that? What's the scenario?
No, personally, I like my peace, and I always say as guys, we shouldn't be no bengathi afterwards, right? After the relationship, right? They can come back and say, "Good, you're an asshole, yahlanya, whatever." I am of the view that you must be able to walk away from things that are uncomfortable.
So
on the basis of things
show
that
yourself
are
out.
uncomfortable. Yeah, nicely. I'm not trying to. And what did I say the other? There's something I cheered out the other day, right? And I was surprised how many people agreed, because I thought it would be how many guys agreed, because I thought it would come across as like a bit weird. I was like, don't be scared of people labeling you insecure. It's fine to be insecure about certain things. Don't
You don't have to be
staring. Yeah, you don't have to be a hero, understanding gent, all these things.
You don't owe that to nobody.
You don't owe that to no one. And I always say, look, maybe I'm also giving the most extreme remedy in that scenario. But in that, you address it, say, hey, that's not on. I don't know who that is.
So really, you would not believe that she got like an Uber Black. There's no way.
If she can show me evidence that it's an Uber Black, like show me the actual Uber app and the thing. Okay, cool. It's fine.
What if she says my friend booked it for me though?
Okay, ask your friend to send you the screenshot. It's not difficult, this thing. It's not hard. I don't know why you keep throwing. It's not hard.
So it would just be so you can edit that, because all it is a notification that says Jabu is coming, Mercedes G63. It's not like you need a picture of it, right? So it's like says
all I just need. Yeah, I don't need a picture of the G. I just need to see that thing. And if that's the case, then sharp, right? But then if it looks shady and ngani Bolt or Uber driver low is how can I put it? The Bolt or the Uber driver, has an accent, and you're playing Burna Boy on the way to my house. I'm about there now.
No, what the fuck?
Please allow me the exit door.
If the driver pulls up and bald head with him cover, it's okay. There's listen, I'm good. Yeah, like there's no need to like at that point it's like, we know what it is, dog. Like we know that crew, those are the criminals who buy ace of spades in the club. So me I'm
Now I
good,
wanna
fam.
make my woman stogo.
Bruh, bruh. That shit is mad.
What's his name? There's this guy. There's this dancehall artist called Black Rhino. Is it Black Diamond? No, Black Rhino. He's got a song on the Love Triangle rhythm. Uh, and in it he just goes, "Me rather stay single by myself. Me can't have a gal who go mash up me health." Right? And when I heard that lyric, dog, like it resonated with me. With I'd rather stay single by myself than to be with anyone who meshes up my health. And that goes both ways, right? So
Yeah.
women also, if you're in a situation where you're with this guy and it's mashing up your health, don't they'll she am done. If they say you're overthinking when Brenda is texting him at whatever, it's like, babe, you be so, and you're moving mad, you're so insecure, like fucking hell, like it's just a friend. If you think witty that is not, it's not good for your health, just exit.
Yeah, no.
So me in that scenario,
G-Wagon is
Mr.
wild, bro.
Maps, G-Wagon comes to drop her off, and then there's no explanation ngathi bolt, but askwazi ukuthi bolt. Rather
You know what those ones said on the pod?
rather I
Like you have
secure
to
my
you have to
peace.
give the own 5 stars. No, so someone quoted that tweet and was like, would be up the whole night trying to request that same Uber to see if
Yeah. Rather.
which is a factor. That's like nah. That one needs to come back.
Yeah.
But you know what? It made me think because I was like, if I had a G-Wagon, right, I would do that. I would do that to fuck up people's relationships. Like, especially leading up to Valentine's. Oh, yeah. Like, anyone ordering Uber Blacks, pulling up, and then, like tinted windows, everything, drop them off. So, who was that? Like, no, my Uber driver. Yeah. I'm sure really, some relationships would end at that point. That shit would be so
And
funny.
in that moment in time. And I'm always saying, if she tries to spin it as if it's you overthinking, King, all you have to is just say, I don't know, it's fine, I'm overthinking, but my peace. You go away with your overthinking, and that's why I always say that, right? They might call you an asshole afterwards. They might not understand why you broke up with them. They'll be upset. They'll vent, whatever. But when at your peace, it's fine.
No, I mean, and there's no one better than men at protecting their peace. I think unequivocally, gents. One thing that I'm proud of.
Women need to learn from this thing.
Yeah, no. Niggas are choosing themselves. Yeah, no. Number one. Because it's quite a lot.
Yes, but that's not to say that if the story doesn't make sense, you must now walk away. Also, like if the story makes sense, like okay, sharp, tando muntu wakho, be with your person, and
you still gotta book that G-Wagon, though. You need to book it again. It needs to be the same job. I don't want to hear what no Uber just has an influx of no. There's no way, Jose. But anyway, wait, where was I going with this? I think I had one more. Oh yeah. So real quick, did you see? There's an article. This is like 2019, but I saw someone posting about it online. Kutoa Kona, there's a man who scammed Google and Facebook of 122,000 pounds. 122 million.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pounds. And the way that he did it was that he just invoiced them and they paid. He was just invoicing them and they paid. I'm like, bro,
that's someone
this is a 2-year scam, bro. 2-year scam.
So if you've ever worked, I've worked with some big companies where you provide like a service, right? You'll provide a service to one business person, and then what they will do will be like, oh, please invoice, and then we'll take it internally, and then they'll pay it out, right? Now, I've seen the most diligent ones, right? So the most diligent companies be like, okay, cool, your invoice needs to have a reference number, and then we need to be able, like internally, right? So internally for them, they need to have like a reference number for the work that you've provided. So you reference, you invoice, you whatever, and then they don't even pay it out unless it's from someone internally who then has to justify the services or goods you've provided for them, right? And then there's others where it's willy nilly, right? You just send the invoice to the accounting department and then accounts just pays it. And I suspect that's what's been happening with these guys, where you just send it to like a mailbox, an auto generated mailbox, an auto monitored mailbox, and then money just comes.
Yay! I think that's, yeah. Obviously, with these, they're huge companies, right? What's this, Google and Facebook? But I think it makes a lot of sense where it's like you guys are just flushed with cash. You're like, all right, yeah, these are the
Yeah.
invoices, payout, because obviously they're probably paying out millions of dollars a year in expenses, right? Oh, sorry, a
Yeah.
month. You're paying out millions of dollars in expenses. So like, your accountants might miss and just be like, yeah, this looks about right in terms of our expenses. You know, sometimes although as an accountant, you shouldn't be eyeballing things, but I know me personally, if I was the accountant, I would be eyeballing, like, yeah, this looks about right. Because I'll look at my look who's in my expenses. I'm like, okay, X amount in total was spent on expenses this month. I'm like, yeah, that looks about right. I might not look into, so there might be like a random app that's still charging me $5 a month, right? But I might miss that one just because it looks, yeah, this looks about correct. And then I just would have never, gone into the whole, what's this thing, into the statement and broke it down like item by item to make sure what it is. So these things
Yes.
can definitely happen. But yeah, that's one hell of a scam. Personally, I would have been scared after 50 million. I would have been like, you know what, 50 is enough. Because the thing is, you get greedy, bro. Like at some point,
At
you need
some point, you will
yeah.
get
No, I
caught.
think at 50,
You
I'd
need
have been like, you know
to.
what, our business is done with Facebook and Google. Let me go home. Because that's, yeah, no, 122
But
is
that's
a
that's
lot.
greed, right? The more money you have, the more your expenses grow, right? So at the moment, maybe you're paying like 5,000 rand rent for your place, and then you start making like the millions, and then you go and you get like a crib in Camps Bay for, I don't know, 20 million. But now you need to furnish it and you need to maintain it. So now you need more money, but now you need a car to go with it because you can't park a Polo or Golf outside it. So now you go and you get a G Wagon to go pick up, other people's hands and all that thing. So you just always need more money. I guess it's never enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, I agree with you. Winners should know when to quit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at some point you just should be like, yeah, thanks. And then, keep it moving. Let me see what you have here, Mr. Moy. Oh yeah, also, there's a really cool AI people should look up. It's called the chatbot.
GBT.
Chat GPT. I've been playing with it, and it's really,
Mm.
really cool. Let me see if I can even log in.
People say it will replace Google.
Interesting. But I mean, Google's working on their own. So Google's like,
Okay.
hell no, we are not going anywhere. We are here. It's corner la, So anyway, so essentially, long story short, ChatGPT is a AI, and let me see. You can ask it a whole bunch of things to do. So I asked it certain things. I was like, give me two pickup lines, and it gave me two pickup lines. So I was like, okay, give me a sweet good morning message. So if you're one of those individuals that you're in the streets, right? So you're talking to maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 babes. You can go to ChatGPT, like give me 6 different good morning message.
ChatGPT.
Good morning message. Let me actually try. Let me see. Let me
So
see.
how is it, like an app? Do I download the app and then log in?
No, so it's a
What
website. It's
happens?
a website. So if you go, but Tate actually knows how to do that. He showed me. So I wouldn't know how to explain it. But if you just look up ChatGPT,
So what would it be, like a sign up?
yeah. So it's like so
Sign
sign up
up.
for the thing. You start in the playground, and then but it gets really, really slow around about these times because people in America are up, and those are the bulk of people who use it.
What's
So
the
let
name of
me.
the site?
I don't know. It just says platform dot openai.com. That's what I have. So right now I'm in the playground. What?
Platform.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
So
try it out later.
I'm gonna
Okay.
ask it one thing now. I'm gonna say write me 3 sweet good morning messages for my girl. Let's see what happens. So it's working. So, Mr. Moy, we
We're
have our
about to live in
results.
inning.
We have our results.
Mm,
Very
okay.
quickly. So for
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend number one, right, gents, again, Valentine's is coming. Let's, these are keys to success. Girlfriend number one, the message is, good morning, my beautiful girl. Wishing you a day full of sunshine, laughter, and lots of love. Hey, hey, cooking with gas. That's number one. Number two, waking up to your beautiful face is the best part of my day. Good morning, my love. That's number two.
Man, I say that sometimes. I don't need no AI. Fucking hell.
So
I don't need no AI.
number three is, I hope this morning brings you a day full of joy and peace. I love you, my girl. So, you can see how this is like a computer, kind of generating these responses. So, again, this is just something super, super random that I just put in that, it's spat out at the end of the day. So I can say, since Valentine's is coming, 3 Valentine's gifts for my man. Let's
Hey,
see.
yeah, hey, so yes, hey, guys, ngeliphumuza abantu ngamasokisi. Like,
Manje lapho it's paisaring. Okay, some interesting stuff. So 3 Valentine's gifts for my man. Gift number 1, a personalized wallet and keychain set, a thoughtful and a personal gift for your man. This set includes a personalized wallet keychain that can be inscribed with a message of your choice. It's not bad. It's not bad. Not mad at it. I like a good
okay.
wallet. Number 2, mini bar set. Perfect for the man who loves to mix a good drink. This mini bar comes set with all the necessary tools to create delicious concoctions. This is vibes. This is vibes. I like this. This is, I'm not mad at this at all. I'm not mad at this at all. And then this is number 3 is like on some Jack Mawaso vibe, bro. To leather gloves. To show the main man in your life that you care with these stylish, warm leather gloves. I mean, so I guess it's because it's winter in the northern hemisphere. No, so okay, all right, fair enough. So these are not bad. These are not bad at all. So let me say, if I changed it to 3, would you want me to say 3 expensive gifts? Let's see what happens.
All right.
3 expensive Valentine's Day gifts for my man. Let's see how wild this there will get. So number 1 is a luxury watch. Number 2 is custom cufflinks. And number 3
Okay.
is a personalized photo album. I actually preferred the cheap ones, the quote unquote cheap ones better. This
Yeah,
is
the cheap one seemed a
this is
bit more
this is a bit underwhelming
thoughtful.
from the AI. Yeah, so again, I think all this to say, ladies and jelly beans, if you're going to be buying someone special in your life a gift for Valentine's, go to the AI and ask it before you start looking at socks and boxers, or
Siyabonga.
the cooch. That doesn't count. Don't. That's just a bonus.
Hey, women
Just
have audacity, guys.
bro, the same Adam, like rather Joe 2 Adams,
Uh,
But yeah, no, AI is taking over, bro. This is really really cool. And you know what? When I was playing with this, what made me what kind of made me sad was I really really wish I was a school child in this era. Imagine, Senna. Imagine. Like, because we're all learning with laptops and computers now. So I want to see if this can solve complex
yes.
equations. So if this solves a complex equation, oh my God. Solve for X? Come on. Like, it's late. Like, listen, Gamu can never
Homework
get
done.
less than an A with AI. Like, I would be like, nah, chief. Like, you need to make a plan. Because technology is insane right now. It's insane, fam. It was so analog for us back in the day. But what do you think?
I think it's going to give everyone a chance. Like I always felt like dating nowadays is probably easier than it's been in history, just because back in the day you had to like put your back in it. You had to when you were texting, you had to be creative. Even just to meet a girl, right? You had to go outside and hope that at a braai or at a party you can, string up some lines, something that would make the girl like you. Now you can go on like an app or Tinder or whatever it is, and you can meet someone or slide into IG DMs and all of that stuff, or Twitter DMs, and that would be an in, right? So Katesi, it's easier than it's ever been, and I think this will just make it even easier, right? So now, I mean, we're talking even gifting ideas. Um, it's gonna curate, like people can now use technology to even curate the perfect relationship, like just showing up for your person in the way which they would probably like. So excuses are running out for both genders, I think.
Yeah, so good tense. So good tense. Like it's yeah, no, there's really not much we can say to excuse ourselves. But any good plans for a Valentine's, Mr. Moy? Speaking of.
Nothing on my side.
Is there nothing? Wow. Yeah,
Thanks.
trash.
um no, man. Nah, probably I'll see what I do, but at the moment it's looking like dinner, and then I haven't done my gift shopping. I will do that. When will I do that? I'll probably do that. Last year I did my gift shopping on the day, on the actual Valentine's Day. I had to be very creative about how I put things together. So one
Oh.
thing that I always say, so I no longer do like deliveries, right? So I don't trust Knitflorist. Bad experience many years ago, so never again. For those who want entertainment, I said this last year, go on Twitter and just type in Knitflorist on Valentine's Day. You will just see meltdown after meltdown around 4 p.m., right? Because your person's at work and maybe you've tried to deliver something to them, and Knitflorist has just not been able to do it. And it happens every year, really. They're reliable most days of the year, but Valentine's, they just don't have the capacity. So just Valentine's Day in Florist, just go on Twitter and you'll see. So I am going to go the shops and package things together myself. I've become quite a bit of an artist in this regard, so I know what to put where and putting together perfect like gift. And the ladies at the shops are always very eager to help, so that's always nice. And then yeah, that's me.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, and of course dinner. I mean,
Yeah, you have to do dinner.
yes.
You have to do
Yeah,
dinner.
but then so there's no place. Everywhere is booked out, right? So it's probably too late even. Do you have plans, Mr. Maps?
Yeah, no, for me, it's super stressful a bit because obviously Valentine's you want to go out for dinner. I think it's on a Tuesday this year. So yeah,
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
yeah. I don't know how we're gonna balance it between because Gamo's bedtime is pretty early.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's your
we
first one
need
as
to.
parents.
Yeah, the first one is parents. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to make it happen. So it's still kind of I'm underpending. His Biliboko have been sorted, but yeah, it's the dinner part of everything. It's kind of like shit. Is there Valentine's Day lunch?
Yeah, you can. You can. I almost actually booked a leave day so I can make a lunch reservation instead of dinner. That was just because everywhere I was looking was booked out. And it happens like this, like Cape Town, this happens during Valentine's. It gets super packed.
Yeah.
Everyone makes reservations well ahead of time, so all the big restaurants by the new year had already been fully booked for Valentine's because white people plan, bro.
Yeah.
Aksafan Nakdala, we just walk into a place and be like, oh, hey, do you guys have seating? Although probably not on Valentine's. But you could make a reservation a week before. Now, even 2 weeks ago, I was struggling. I got lucky, but I know I was struggling.
Sure. Yeah, no. It's tense. Even here, the difference is like places will be available, but they will hike up prices, and it'll just become a nightmare sometimes. But yeah, let's
Mm.
see. We'll see how it goes. We'll regroup. But yeah, to everybody else, if you're single, be happy that you're saving money. And if you are in a relationship, then hey, bruh, enjoy. Let's not make too much of a big deal of Valentine's Day. You must be taking your person out and spoiling them on a consistent basis. But like if you're one of those who's a Valentine's Day stan, flowers don't hurt. Be nice. Treat your girl nice. And ladies, do
Sebeqalisile
something
labo every day is
for
Valentine's.
gents.
Though I know my fighters.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's mad. Senna, that's rude. You're actually rude for that one. You're actually rude for that one.
How am I rude?
No. You see, and like I said, we didn't have enough time to get to Man City. Real quick, what happened at the Grammys? What did you? Because I need to go.
Outrage over Harry Styles winning over, I think, who did he win? I think there was an Beyonce album nominated for Album of the Year, Renaissance or something like that. Then Harry Styles
Harry
won. Now
Styles.
everyone, you know how, namang mazi, but hey, you know how black people be. We're out here, we're upset. Namang nandaba, I'm also upset. So let's get those characters in on my behalf.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So the Grammys apparently have a long-standing history of mising black artists,
Oh yeah, they do absolutely.
and that continued this year, especially in terms of like the main categories or main albums and all of that
I
stuff.
think Macklemore won like album of the year when he was hot for 2 seconds over like some really good. I think it was like Kendrick or a couple other like he won like best hip hop album or like best rap album, and that was wild. That's when
Yeah,
I saw
well,
it. Yeah, Lapa, there's no story.
it's
There's no
it's
story.
yeah. Even I think 1988, Michael Jackson went to the Grammys. I think he'd won in 1984. He'd won very like heavily, or 83 or whatever. He won like for Thriller. Then when he released Bad, there was just an element of we can't have this nigga coming up here and upstaging us again. So they snubbed him like proper. Um, but then they still wanted him to perform because they needed his numbers, which I won't with but yeah.
Yeah.
So the Grammys have a history of doing that. Probably similar to the Oscars. So that was the outrage. Nothing much really.
Okay. All right. I think with that we can wrap it up. It's been another good one, Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Let's do it again next week. Someone was in the mentions on some. Oh no, I'm loving the consistency, and I'm like, don't jinx us. Otherwise, I'm gonna pump next week.
There'll be a mistake somewhere in the scheduling.
Exactly. But nah, it's been a good one. Any last
No, it's
words,
been a
Mr.
good
Moore?
one. It's been a good
You're
one.
right.
I've enjoyed it. No, I am alright. I am alright. There's something I wanted to say. Let me actually think about it real quick before we go. No. Oh, do you know the one who have a party in Robben Island?
What do you mean a party? What kind of party?
Like a party, like a groove,
For what?
like a groove, like just to groove at Robben Island. Like, you know
But
how
like
people
who's so
have
who
been.
who wants to have a party?
No, there's some promoters that are organizing it. These I think it's these white guys. But they want to have like a, like Ibiza or Ibiza. I don't know how it's Ibiza or Ibiza, but you know how in Ibiza it's like a whole festival music thing. So I want to do like a silent disco at
Yeah.
Robben Island because people have been
Why a
saying,
silent disco?
Angas, but I think they're just trying to nudge us in that direction. Because I think people have been saying over the years, Robben Island is the only island in South Africa and we turned it into a prison. Like, can it be like a groove place? Like everywhere else, their islands are, they're like proper party joints. And this
I
one
mean,
here
I'm
is
not
just
mad
a
at it to be
national
honest.
monument. But black people are very upset, right? They were like, erasing
But why?
history, it's disrespectful.
Erasing history of black imprisonment?
Bro. A part of me actually agreed with the idea of not the idea of a party festival or something, but make it luxurious. Like build a freaking hotel there. Like make it like a big. Let's bring proper
Now
thing.
you're wilding, bro.
How am I wilding?
I'm not building a hotel on Robben Island. I'll groove there though. Like I say, I mean, I can understand. Like at the end of the day, if it's one of those kind of the way like black people took the word nigga and made it their own, right? If that's kind of like what you wanted to go for, that energy, then it's interesting. I'm all for innovative ideas.
Because I feel like
I would read up on it.
Look, I've never been to Robben Island, Northern Africa, Cape Town. I've been living here for 6 years now. And nothing in me has been like pay I don't know, it's like 2K just to go and come back.
Because it's like, why would you want to pay that much money to go get upset?
Yeah, bro, it's like, it's okay. I see the historical significance of it. At the same time,
groove, man.
Durban
Coco live in Robben Island, yo.
Because it's not even like making money at the moment, right? Because so COVID hit, no one was going there. You'll be lucky to get Cape Townians who want to go there, so they're running it at a loss. So I can understand why people want to like change the direction.
But running what? What are they maintaining?
There's just a prison, but you need to maintain the prison and feed the staff and pay the staff and make sure that.
Oh, there's people there.
Yeah, there's people who work there. Right, like it's a whole national monument, right?
Okay.
So okay. I don't know. I would not that I would demolish the prison. I would demolish the prison actually. Like
demolish.
Put that shit in a museum somewhere. Build a 5-star hotel and be like, hey guys, let's move on.
Nah, but you're wild for the hotel part.
Why not? No, how is that wild? Like you build a 5-star hotel and then you have a whole party thing going on there. Bro, who wouldn't pay money? I think like that would make so much money.
Works, but not a 5-star.
No, you do both. I'm not saying do one. Like the island's big enough to have both.
My thing was kind of you use the prison cells. Those could be like different depending on how big they are. Those could be like, so if you go to like Tomorrowland and Ultra, these places, like there's different vibes, like there's different places, so not just the main stage. So you could use the cells as like different sections. No,
so that's wild.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You're wild. You're wild.
That's not
going to turn the prison into a group.
That's what I thought you meant.
The prison itself.
That's what I thought you meant.
No, like, dog. I mean, no. So what I think these people want, they want to keep the prison as it is, right? And then they're going to like build some other thing where people can party, like separate from the prison, right? On the island, right? And I'm like, actually, screw both, demolish the prison, and then build a whole freaking luxurious thing with the party section where it's like, it's a proper party joint. Right, you go to Robben Island to have a good time.
I think keep it up there for historical significance, but just turn it into groove.
Anyways, maybe that's my cancelable take.
Yeah, you're wild. But anyway, no guys, it's been a good one. As you know, like the thing, retweet the thing, subscribe to the thing. And if you don't, we are inclined, there we go, to believe.
Listen properly.
That you are a hater, Mr. Boyle.
Laters.